So I dread making this video, and I know many are going to disagree with me, most likely, but I also heard this is what many people want from the Skydio as well, so I know I can't be the only one. Plain and simple, the Skydio sucks for our needs. And what I mean by our needs is mostly OHV riders looking to do something cinematic or even a remembrance of some kind of beautiful place that they were on vacation and just want to upload it to YouTube or just share it, with the family or something. I ride with a lot of people, and after seeing what it does, they all canceled their orders and no longer interested. They all said the same thing: can you get it out further and see the background? I showed them some of the footage and obviously it cannot. It follows close to you all the time. Now, I know everyone is hyped on this drone because of the technology. Oh my gosh, the obstacle avoidance. Look, it follows you and it could avoid trees. It's very exciting at first, but after so many times it records you, it gets a little old. Yes, that is great, but it's missing something so simple to make it the best drone in this market. Because as of now, I honestly still prefer my Staker drone just because I can fly it out much further. Just take a look at this sample footage over here that I filmed with my Staker drone. As you can tell, it's much more prettier. It's very cinematic. It gives you that nice clear footage of where you're located, the mountains in the background and everything. I feel like the Skydio cannot do that unless you fly it manually. Now, the biggest issue that is killing me on this drone, and especially for my buddies, is the distance. This drone constantly flies close to you at all times, unless it is trying to avoid an obstacle. And why does that bother me? Well, for starters, I like catching the background and the beautiful scenery when I'm out flying. Number two, it gets repetitive, and at times it flies right on top of you, even though I set the distance out at max. Yes, even through the beacon and the phone. I joined them both together, and increasing the distance and height, you only get so much. The height was pretty fair, but distance-wise, it seemed it was very limited. Number three, and this is my biggest concern, is it's bound to crash sooner or later. With something incredibly thin, not everyone is a risk taker and would like to fully test its capabilities. For a $1,000 drone, yeah, I'm not that kind of a risk taker. You all seen its crashes going through thin wires and even some thin branches. It was either going too fast, couldn't spot it in time, and avoid it. And well, to be honest, this can't really be avoided because you can't set the height like the other drones. So as of now, the Staker drone with no obstacle avoidance, I feel it's a little bit safer because I can fly it above the tree lines when I need to. There was one time I was flying out and it came very close to some very thin tree branches, and I was trying to figure out how to raise the drone above these trees, and sadly I couldn't. I was very limited. Now, in my opinion, the only thing the Skydio has going for it is its obstacle avoidance and the beacon on how fast you can change its control on the fly. That's great. Let it follow us from a fixed distance and height, and you got yourself the perfect drone. Now, I cannot speak for the manual flyers out there, as I'm sure that is completely different versus having manual control. I'm talking about the folks that are into extreme sports, kind of just want to set the height and distance and just forget it. So I want you guys to take a look at this clip right here. I'm going to put it in slow motion, and this distance is the perfect distance, and I believe it's not much to ask for. It's clear in the background. You can really see the mountains and everything, the scenery where you're at. You can look way ahead, yet we are close enough to crop out if you want something a little closer. It kind of reminds me of that person who records with a GoPro but it's pointing way too down. That's the best way I can describe it. Anyways, here's the footage. So if you take a look at this picture right here, I believe this is the perfect distance right here. And the only reason the Skydio drone got off this far was because I made a U-turn, and then it was just trying to figure out what I was gonna do, and then eventually it caught up to me within a few seconds. Yes, even trying to hit that plus button on the beacon and the phone, I could not get this drone farther away from me. Of course, I was going pretty fast, but even though I was going this speed, it should still definitely give me the option to send the drone a bit more further back. Now here's another sample. This is the Skydio 2 footage. And again, this was after trying to increase the max distance possible. And now this is the Staker drone. Notice you are able to see the background more clearly. Again, the best way I can describe this is, it's like when a person places their GoPro on a too low of an angle and it makes you kind of like try to look ahead or see what's ahead pretty much. And with the Skydio 2, this is kind of what it's delivering over time. Don't get me wrong, the close-up is great, but every so often I do want to look ahead. I want to look at the scenery and the mountains in the background. Don't get me wrong, I love the Skydio follows closely, but I also want the option to record me to see the scenery in the background. I want to remember that place for the mountains in the back and stuff. We plan on riding in Moab around December this year, and I honestly do not want to take the Skydio because it won't even capture the scenery. It will just capture me. I mean, come on, do I really want to miss that scenery in Moab? Anyhow, guys, thanks for watching. I do hope the Skydio, adds this in their future updates because honestly, this is a very great drone and that is all that's missing. Just that little extra option.